Here I'm going to show you a couple of useful tools in edit mode. This is extruding and scaling. So right now I have a cube, I am in edit mode, and I've got everything selected to faces. So I can click on any face here, and I can move this face around in order to change the shape. But what if I want to put a bend? What if I want more than just a box? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the extrude function. So the extrude function you could find on the left-hand side, it's this one here. It'll give you a little plus sign that you can then drag across to pull something out. However, if you watch some tutorials on YouTube, you'll see that a lot of people don't do it this way. And that's because they're going to use hotkeys. So when I press the hotkey, which is my shortcut, I can press or select the face that I want and then press E. And that will give me an extrude function just like before. And now I can move this particular face and it's going to cause a bend where I had the original face that I extruded it out of. So you can use this to start building different objects and moving them up and down. You can see we're on the way to building something that looks like a piping or a bridge right now. You can also pair this with a subdivision surface. So you could get something that's a little bit more tube-like, as we can see here. But then when you pair it with a subdivision surface, if you haven't applied the subdivision surface, what you're actually going to extrude along is you're going to extrude along the original face. So this is going to allow you to manipulate the shape itself without having to bring in a whole bunch of different faces that you need to start playing with. You've just got the simpler faces of the original object. Now if I go back a bit, so we go back pre-subdivision surface, and actually I can just delete out of that. Another useful tool that we have in our toolbox is the scale tool. So scaling allows me to change the size of an object. If you're in object mode, it'll do it for the entire object. If you're in line mode or face mode, it'll do that for that particular edge or face. And you can actually select a whole bunch of vertices too and just do this for those vertices as well. So if I pick these two vertices and I scale them, I can just make those two bigger and leave the original two the same. The hotkey for scaling is S. And then you just move your mouse back and forth. You can see if you go through the central point, you'll start to do funky things that you don't want to. But as long as you stay on this side, you can just move the mouse back and forth and it will scale those objects up. Now sometimes you'll pick an object. I'm going to go back to face mode for this. You'll pick an object and be like, okay, I want to extrude. Now I want to scale. It doesn't work like that. You've actually got to click off of the extrude before you click onto the scale. So sometimes you get with really weird things that are not the way you want them to be. If that happens, you can actually just right click and it'll go back to the beginning before you press the hotkey. So that is a good way to save yourself if you've done something that you did not necessarily mean to.